Sorry, I didn't realize I had to push another button.
He pushed the other button.
Pushed the first button.
Technology is hard.
It is your first time, Jeremy.
It is my first time. All right. So I'm going to put some things out here. It looks like we are live because I'm hearing myself echoed back through my computer, which is the thing that happened last time.
11 viewers, it says.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the closing moments of the One Deck Dungeon Kickstarter. Someone says that our sound is robot-y. I apologize if that is the case.
We got a new backer, Buchan Cage.
Yay!
See if we can get. I don't know. I don't know if it shows the total number or whatever, but we can report that as we.
Yeah, I'll keep reporting it. Right now we are.
Anybody wants to fund all our stretch goals right now? Feel free.
Yeah, now's the time.
29,283. So we're less than $70.
Hey, someone posted. No one did a selfie in our last one. I don't know if is it hard to do the selfie thing. Someone tried to do the selfie thing. For some reason, I can't type in the chat. I don't know why that is.
Maybe
it was scrolled down off the bottom of the screen for me. That was weird. Okay.
All right. So we are currently, we're at 29,298. So just over $700 remaining to get to that last stretch goal and get us over the $30,000 mark, which would also take us to 150% funded, which is pretty neat. Thank you, everybody, for all the support you've given us so far through the campaign. We're really excited. I mean, obviously, we are fully funded, so we're definitely making this game. And as we've mentioned on updates that have happened before now, it will be coming to tablets. That is a thing I probably should have done before this, is figure out where we're at on terms on the mobile backer side, so we could figure out exactly how long
they can do that. Well,
there's not an easy way to do it.
Okay.
We've got lots. Yeah, the last time we reported it, which was definitely more than a week ago, I think at this point, it was at halfway. So, 4 weeks in a month, 2 of those weeks were already gone, and it's definitely been getting closer and closer. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we're down to a week at this point. I don't think we quite got to day and date, but I would be surprised if it wasn't down to a week at this point, because there have been tons of people adding a buck here and there, tons of new mobile backers. It's been very exciting.
Excalibur Zone asked in the comments about getting a zip file for the wallpapers. There are zip files that hold at least the 2 sets of wallpapers. I don't know if there's one zip file for all the wallpapers, but they're linked in the updates.
Yeah, I set it up so that there is a zip in each of those updates if you want to download them to your desktop. But then I also set it up so you could click on each of them and just open a big version, because downloading a zip, if you want to use it on your tablet or something like that, sometimes you can't really download, open up a zip, and then, assign it from there. So I wanted them to be full-size images that people could just tap on as well. So
I guess Kickstarter Live isn't as smart as YouTube about not playing the same video twice in different tabs. That's the thing it does, which is nice.
Oh, I see. So it's showing me here and over here. That's interesting. I'm still learning this whole YouTube Live or Kickstarter Live thing.
Yeah, so what we see is not what they see. I don't know if you've got the view version up as well, but if you're I'm seeing myself in a square, but actually it's going to show the whole widescreen.
I don't think that's accurate.
Well, it was for when we did it before.
I think that was because there were only 2 of you.
Maybe.
I'm looking at the one that's actually on the Kickstarter page right now, and it's similar, but not the same as the one that we have. It's this, it says Jean-Marc is on the top and you and me are on the bottom, whereas in the preview, maybe does it change based on the size of the... who knows?
Oh, well.
Anyhow, so these last couple days have been really quite amazing. There's been more activity on the campaign. Literally yesterday was the second best day of the campaign since launch day, which was very exciting. Oh, another new backer. Thank you, Arya.
Excalibur Zone has found the zip. Hooray! Woohoo! Yeah, the last couple of days have been amazing. The 48-hour email was big, and we were out, had a message in the Board Game Geek newsletter that helped a lot. And I think people, it's a common thing in Kickstarters that towards the end, people are like, oh, it funded, now I'm going to back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'm going to miss my chance to back.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Well, and you know, like one of the things that we were very clear about right from the get-go is that there isn't anything on this Kickstarter that will be exclusive. Like you'll be able to get all of the things, but like if you want to save and get them, you know, before anybody else, basically, this is your chance to do so. The treasure chest saves you $5 basically, because there's going to be 5 I almost said variants 5 promos in there, and you'll be able to get them whenever they come out. You know, we have not pre-funded more than the first and maybe the second if we have a pretty awesome next 10 minutes. So the other ones will come out once we have the time to make them, sometime after the retail launch. But if you get it with the treasure chest now, you get them all.
Right. The mobile wallpapers are exclusive, I suppose. Though I guess we could sell them later, but you'll get them for free.
Yes, you'll get those for free if you're a mobile backer, or if you added $1. You'll get that through Backer Kit. It'll be unlike the wallpapers that we've made so far. Those are just posted for anybody to use. The mobile ones.
The main thing we're talking about exclusive wise is like game content. Right. So
exactly. Will the stretch goals continue to count in the upcoming weeks until fulfillment? So we were actually just discussing that here. We are going to be using Backer Kit. So there will be the opportunity to add on. As you know, obviously you need to allocate your add-ons, and then you'll be able to add even more on at that point. So I'd say there's probably a chance, but we haven't actually had that meeting yet.
The reason we did that in our last Kickstarter was because we had a different mobile situation. But that's not the case here. So
yeah, and the other thing about it is that you know, we plan to be working pretty quick on this project. Basically, essentially, the whole team is working on almost nothing but this right now. So I don't know. With season 2, we knew it was going to be
Sentinels as well.
We're all working on Sentinels as well, but like, you know, a lot of the Sentinels stuff is you know, still waiting on some content and some other kinds of things. So we are going to be working as fast as we can to get this game finished and polished and launched. And so with season 2, there was like, we knew there'd be like at least 6 months before any content was going to come out. With this, it's probably going to be more like 2, 3, something like that, 4 months. So, you know, I don't even know that we'll do beyond Backer Kit add-ons. I don't know that we'll even be doing pre-sales. But again, we haven't had that meeting yet. So stay tuned. Yeah. Once we see exactly where we're going to land here, we'll have more information next week. And then obviously once the Backer Kit is ready to go, everybody.
Yeah, I see David's in the chat.
Hey, David.
Nico asked about the Forest of Shadows. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get to $60,000 in 8 minutes. So it's not going to be guaranteed as a stretch goal. But like anything else, if the game sells well and performs well, then it's something we'll look at potentially doing. You know, maybe that's a second Kickstarter. Maybe, you know, sales are good enough that we can pay for it with sales. We'll just have to see. There's no guarantee though, with no stretch goal. So
yeah, and again, I mean, what's great about Kickstarter is we now have the budget, so there's no question One Deck Dungeon is coming out. Period.
Exactly.
But with extra content, it's more of a sort of typical business decision. If, you know, One Deck Dungeon launches on Steam and all of a sudden we're making $1 million, we will definitely be making Forest of Shadows. If it is like a little bit smaller, well, it'll be a discussion. And, you know, the long and the short of it is that this project will turn a profit even if we don't sell a single copy on Steam after we deliver to all of you wonderful folks who have backed us. That being said, it's coming to tablets, and we know that there's at least, you know, 400 or 500 of you out there who are going to buy it on tablets too. So, you know, we know that there's a pretty decent market. Kickstarter has done its job here, which is not only funded the creation of this, but also shown us where the market demand is, you know, based on a lot of people asking for it for their mobile devices. So yeah, we're pretty confident. And, you know, when and if we make Forest of Shadows is something you'll just have to stay tuned, and we'll have to let you know.
Hack Area Tech asks, can you get add-on keys? You can get add-on Steam keys. They ask about Android and iOS keys, which there are no such thing in this Kickstarter. So there are no Android or iOS keys at all.
Right. But yes, you can add on. If you scroll all the way down on the thing, there's a list of all the available add-ons, and that'll show you what you can add on right now in the next 6 minutes, and also what will likely be available.
Yeah, you can do that in Backer Kit later too, but obviously it's better to have it in Kickstarter. But if you add it, you can add it on as much as you want later on.
Yep, exactly.
Keith Jones asked, has mobile pricing been discussed? I think we talked about that a little bit in an update, but basically it won't cost you more to get it on mobile than on Steam. but we haven't decided exact pricing yet.
Yeah, again, like, talking a little bit more about Kickstarter, part of the idea here was to figure out, A, how well would it do, and B, what size of market is there, and some of the rest of it is, listening to the feedback from people. One of the reasons why we announced that we would definitely do tablet was because we got so much feedback that was like, I would back this, but I don't want to play on Steam, so can it come to tablets? And we did some internal metrics and did some figuring to see how well that could do, and we modeled it based on several different price points for the mobile version.
Hey, Jeremy just became a backer.
Hey, I actually noticed,
backing.
Yeah, there have been a lot of Jeremys backing on this campaign. So if any of you Jeremys are listening, you have a great name. But yeah, I was noticing it. I got, at least in the last week, like 5 or 6 Jeremys backing, which, Mike's and John's are, you expect to see a lot of those. Brian's, various permutations of Chris or Christopher's. But Jeremy is one of those names that's kind of like a little bit less common while still being, not like quite, not sort of unique, like Jean-Marc. Like that's like a cool, classy, like how many Jean-Marcs are you going to meet in your day, right? Whereas, I meet Jeremy a lot. But yeah, I suppose it does depend on where you live.
You live in France, you're going to meet a lot of Jean-Marcs.
That's true.
Although I visited a friend in Montreal, and he told me that Jean-Marc is generally an older man's name.
Well, names are actually sort of, they go in cycles, like a lot of young girls now I've noticed are like, we picked like Audrey and Violet for our kids. And those are names that in the 90s, you wouldn't have heard a lot of those, but in like the 30s, you would have, and they're all sort of coming back around. So
yeah, Elsie's coming back in now.
Cool. All right. We got 4 minutes left.
About purchases across platforms. If you buy the game, it is for the platform that you bought it on. Just like almost every video game in the world.
Yeah, we actually we used to get a lot of questions about this, about Sentinels as well. But it's, the way to always think about it is like, if you walked into a GameStop with an Xbox version of Call of Duty and asked for the PlayStation version
for free,
they wouldn't give it to you.
I for Xbox, I want it for PC and PS3 and my phone and everything for free, please.
Yeah, it's a little
product. It costs money it costs money to build it. It's not for free.
Yeah, and I do understand, because free to play has kind of changed that for a lot of people's minds, where it's like I download it and play it for free everywhere, and sometimes I just buy stuff in app, but like we don't make free to play games. At least we haven't yet. That's not to say we never would, but like our games are not free to play games. They cost money to make, they cost money to play, and that's just the way we do it. Some apps are doing it, yeah, and like one of the ones is like, the response is, but what about Star Realms? And the answer is, I don't work at Star Realms. If they can make money doing it that way, then hey, more power to them. But the way that we always sort of saw it is that request of like, if I bought it on Steam, can I have it on mobile for free? Is like, hey, can you do some more work so that I can give you less money? And that just seemed like
a lot more work to us. To have less sales.
Yeah. All right, 2 minutes to go. 1,725 backers. That's a pretty cool number. Nice roundish number.
And they went through like 2 or 3 months of being rejected by Apple before they got their game on the App Store.
That is true. Oh yeah, and then there's also the question of like monitoring it. Is we'd have to create like a back-end server to track accounts and all this other kind of stuff, and especially like this
extra work that you talked about, but you didn't.
Right. Yeah, we didn't make it explicit, but like a game like this doesn't even need anything like that. So why would we build? Yeah, it's different for a game like, let's say we wanted, for instance, with Bottom of the Ninth. There are certainly the potential that we could someday make a persistent Bottom of the Ninth account that follows you from platform to platform, because it's competitive. You might want to keep your stats together and all the rest of it, but that's just not something we've done for that, and it's not something we've done for any other game yet.
We're into the seconds.
Oh no!
Get your pledges
Some questions in the chat there.
60 seconds to go.
Will it be playable without an internet connection? Yep, that's fine. Just like pretty much every game on Steam. Well, I guess I'm sure there's free-to-play games that require internet, but it's a local game. There's no online multiplayer, so there's no online required.
Yep. 40 seconds. Oh, we're getting a flurry of backers.
Hacker A-Tech asked about multiplayer in the future. It's something we'd like to do, but no promises, and we'll see. So.
Yeah, again, those are all going to be market-driven decisions from this point on.
Yeah, you'll be able to. You can play, like, you can share screen over Skype and stuff. Like, that's what we did when Sentinels first came out on Sentinels Live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who's going to squeak in before the last 15 seconds?
Getting so close. 8, 7.
Be the last
6.
backer.
Oh, we got a new one. Another new one.
Matthew.
2,
Thanks, Matthew.
1. Huzzah! Oh, and another Chris snuck in right at the last second.
You get a Chris at the very
We
end?
got a Chris.
Oh, we jumped just up to 400.
Oh, yeah. 29,401. Woohoo!
Cool. Hey.
Jeremy's getting a day drink.
Yeah, that's actually really just for show because I'm not actually going to have a. Mostly just like, hey, clink.
Yeah,
yes, yay.
Pop the cork.
Pop the cork.
Yay! Your
All right.
project has successfully funded.
Actually, I wonder if can pledges come in after the moment, if like you were in the process of putting in your payment. I guess we'll see.
I would imagine.
I don't think so. 0 seconds to go, 29,401. Yeah, interesting, just for some like behind the scenes stuff, if anybody is curious about this, like that number from this point forward on Kickstarter, that number can actually go down. And that happens if
it will go down. Like there will be people whose credit cards don't work and they don't ever put their payment in. Like that is just a reality.
Exactly. So, it will go down a little bit from this final number. But then hopefully with, add-ons and other things from Backer Kit, maybe it'll go back up again.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think there's like
something that happens too is people's payments fail on Kickstarter and then they like pay on Backer Kit.
Yeah.
And it works out. But the number goes down on Kickstarter in that case.
Indeed. All right. Good time. So final number 29,401 with 1,728 backers.
Nice.
So, and one stretch goal officially unlocked, the Phoenix's Den, and Fnatic so close. We're gonna have to think long and hard about whether we think that got close enough to be counted.
The most popular backer level was the Dungeon Looter with 813 backers.
Indeed, that is the $15 level. And actually, so I can tell you this much right now. We have 223 actual mobile dungeon backers, which is up. It was like just under 200 when I last did the metrics on it. And then at that time, it was actually almost even in terms of the total number of people that were just a backer for $1 or people who had added $1. So if we go from that, it's probably somewhere in the 450 to 500 range, which means, like I said, if it's 350 to get to 2 weeks, each week, what's 720 divided by 4, whatever that is, it's probably about a week after Steam is when the tablet's going to launch. Well, we'll put an update out next week once we've like waded through all of the final numbers and figured out exactly, where we're at. We'll let you guys know exactly when, in terms of delay, the tablet version will come. And we'll also have, obviously, Backer Kit links to send to everybody to do surveys and all the rest of that while we continue to work hard. Also, I would say stay tuned to our Twitch channel because there's certainly a chance we'll do more developer streams. They're not super heavily watched live because I think it's during the workday, but they do get quite a bit of views after the fact on YouTube. People out there really love sort of watching the process, and we know that you guys like that, and so we're happy to continue doing that. And if you backed for beta access, stay tuned sometime. Hopefully, I think, John, is it all right if I'm a little bit transparent about this?
Yeah, hopefully in December we'll be able to get the beta, but certainly it would be by January sometime. So
yeah. Our goal is to try and get it out by this month. So if you backed at the $50 level to get beta access, expect to hear from us within the next few weeks to start getting that set up, and then you'll be able to start playing or trying the game and helping us test it.
It won't be the final game. It'll be test the game and find bugs. So
yes,
it'll be rough.
Yes. And then, and then obviously the next tranche will be early access. No idea when the timing on that will be. A lot of that will depend on how the beta test goes. And then, once early access is out, a couple months after that, full game. I still think we're pretty solid for, sometime in early 2018, Q1, Q2, somewhere in those neighborhoods. But stay tuned and we will let you know.
Yeah. Laura asked when our credit card is going to be charged. I believe pretty much right away over the next day or two. Charges are going through from Kickstarter, so
yeah, I don't think there's any reason for them to wait until Monday.
Yeah, normally I see them happening. Like I get a thing on my card like immediately, but it can vary based on like maybe if you're international or whatever. Like maybe there's some processing time. So expect it. I mean, I think Kickstarter basically allows like a week to get your payment before it drops you as a backer. So and you'll have an opportunity to try again if your card doesn't go through. You'll get an email. Check your email from Kickstarter, or visit the Kickstarter page after, say Monday, to make sure that your payment went through.
Indeed. All right. I think we'll give this a couple more minutes if there's any more questions. So I don't know. I've been trying to follow the chat, but I've been also talking.
Chris just woke up. I don't know if he wants to join. Probably not.
Chris from Masmati was going to join us. He said he's not feeling so good. But he's very excited that we are making One Deck Dungeon for Steam and later tablets. Fun times.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yep. I think we'll probably call it there if there's no more questions.
Yeah. Any more questions from the chat? The chat delay is way lower on here than on Twitch, by the way. I think it's because there's no ad. You think the ad is what? That's weird, though. No, I don't think the ad delays it, because when the ad goes over us talking,
does it?
It doesn't delay it for people. I don't think so.
Maybe it doesn't. I guess the test for that would be to watch it with a free account Prime, and then watch it with a subscription and see if there's a difference.
I've definitely noticed watching the streams times when people will be responding in the chat to something I haven't seen on the screen yet. So I don't know.
Oh, it does vary. It's not like it's consistently 30 seconds. It's it varies for some reason. So.
All right, so we have another question here. John Curie asks, were the promos made specifically for this campaign, or were they being made anyway? There's actually a mix there. The Witch was actually already in development by Chris, and he was like, hey, we were already thinking about doing this character. Wouldn't it be cool if it was part of this campaign? So that one was already sort of a concept. The Hellhound, which we just announced recently, was much more of just something that was kicking around in the back of Chris's head, and he was like, oh, we've got this campaign. I think I'll go ahead and invent this and make it part of the campaign. And obviously, Fnatic would not exist at all for One Deck Dungeon if it were not for this campaign. So, all right.
And then there's existing promos that were already made, like Kaliana and stuff that we'll bring.
Yeah, Kaliana and the Phoenix's Den are actually already available as print and play. And if you're getting Forest of Shadows via the Kickstarter, I believe they are included in that box.
Mm-hmm.
I would double check on that, though. I'm not sure. I know the box of Forest of Shadows, that was the demo box that I opened at PAX Unplugged to show people, did have both of those cards in it. So
Chris Chance asks, have you considered doing different color ooze for higher level ooze monsters? We actually have thought about potentially doing alternate art for dungeon cards, but that's something was like a future stretch goal we never got even near. So we'll see. Yeah. Potentially someday.
Can we upgrade to early access in the Pledge Manager? Yes, that is. Once we get to the Pledge Manager,
not a limited level. So
you have the option to put in a couple more bucks and change the reward that you've picked. So yes, that is something you will be able to do. Danny asks, will the game support online multiplayer for co-op? Certainly not in 1.0. That is definitely not. It's out of scope for 1.0, and beyond that, it's more a question of we'll see if that's something that people really, really want once the game is out, and if it's selling well enough and enough people are asking for it, then it's something we will consider for sure.
Yeah, but you'll be able to do screen sharing, over Skype or Google Hangouts, or I think NVIDIA has a thing where you can actually share the mouse cursor and play co-op games, like split screen over the internet, or Discord. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways that you can share your screen and play co-op, and it will work well for this game. So. But yeah, specifically online multiplayer, someday maybe, but yeah.
Oh, I see. There's actually I didn't even realize there was a separate tab for Q&A. I guess that would have been for people who had left questions earlier, maybe?
Some people write in the question earlier, but
yeah.
And there's selfies, but no one ever puts selfies, I guess.
Oh, Laura Forbes asked a great question. Will you be doing gameplay of ODD Digital on Sentinels Live, or will it get its own program? John and I have discussed this. We really want One Deck Dungeon to have its own program, or multiple ones, quite frankly, because obviously Sentinels Live is on Tuesdays, and we also have Tales from the Archive and Dolphins Dive. We'll have to find words that rhyme with dungeon if we're going to do that, like One Deck Dungeon and
Dungeon.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot.
fishing for sturgeon or something. I don't know. But yes, we think that this is a game that is definitely going to be the kind of thing that people can stream and watch and have a good time. As with, there's lots of people out there who stream roguelikes because, one of the things that's really fun about roguelikes is the sort of random factor where like you never know what you're going to get when you dive in. And so how someone plays it is almost more important than like the sort of base level of the game itself, because every time you play, you're going to get something different. So it's like, dealing with, how does the person decide they're going to level up when they take their loot? Are they going to try and scream for level 2? Are they going to take the skill? Are they going to, add the stat boost? So we see this as being a really streamable, fun sort of audience participation type of game for sure.
Yeah. And I'm sure like Jeremy and I will be playing, we'll be like showing off progress during Sentinels Live before we have a regular show, but I definitely think it would be good to have a regular, at least weekly show, and maybe we'll have guest streamers or like we have for Dolphins Dive and Tales from the Archive. We've also been thinking about having a regular Bottom of the Ninth stream too, but we will see.
Yeah, the trick with this is that I have 3 kids, and so I can't stream outside of the regular workday very often, and I already sort of have Tuesdays slotted for Sentinels Live, and at this point, we don't have any plans to like deprecate Sentinels Live. Like that's still a show that we love doing, sure. And we week. And so if we're adding another show in, I don't know when I would be able to do it. And so that's where we start thinking about like, maybe John will host it, or maybe we'll find somebody else to host it, or maybe we'll get some of the community to host it. So maybe that's still up in the air.
Who knows?
Maybe Chris wants to host it, yeah.
Yeah, maybe some people that are in the chat are interested.
Danny asked, is the fanatic thing for Sentinel still happening? Yeah, so for those content stretch goals, we have already announced that we do plan to make them, but they're not necessarily going to be available at launch. So, whenever they come out, if you got the treasure chest, they'll be part of your treasure chest, or they'll be separately available if you didn't get that. But I would say don't necessarily expect to see Fanatic and the Hellhound and the other one, the other dungeon, I think, right? At launch, yeah. But in the future.
Yeah, so Phoenix's Den, yes, for sure.
Right.
Fanatic is kind of up in the air. We're gonna have some internal discussions and see what we can make happen. Then you've got Kalyana Asmati, you've got the Witch, and the Hellhound. So those last 3 are the ones that they are definitely going to be made at some point, but when they're going to actually be added to the game is a completely open question at this point.
Yep, but still worth getting the treasure chest because it'll be, worthwhile. And it won't be. I don't think the treasure chest will be available after the backer kit closes. I think that will be like the end of it. So
right, yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we're reaching just about a half an hour. Closed 15 minutes ago. If you're just joining us, we did successfully raise our money for One Deck Dungeon. The game is now going to be made for sure. It's coming to Steam. It's coming to your tablet. We raised from 1,728 backers, a total of $29,401. Thank you so much, everybody, for backing us, for checking out any of the live streams, or for spreading the news on all your social media. We will officially leave you alone and stop bugging you to tell your friends. And stay tuned in the next week for more information about how the game is coming along and when pledges manager thingies are going to go out. And anything else to add, Jean-Marc or John?
A couple more questions if you want to answer.
Oh, are there still more questions coming in?
Daniel asks, when tablet launches, will you consider a treasure chest level for that? That's not really... The treasure chest is for Steam only. It has nothing to do with mobile. And we can't deliver mobile stuff on Kickstarter. That's why we don't have mobile.
Yeah.
So the items that the treasure chest has will be available separately on mobile, just as they will be on Steam. Danny asks, how much sooner should early access backers get to play the game? I would guess it'll probably be about a month and a half early.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. As I said, we are, very excited to really start buckling down and working on this. Not that we haven't been, as you probably saw in the developer streams, we've already been working on it quite a bit. But this is going to be our sort of number one priority now that the Kickstarter has officially funded. So like we said, we're hoping to get the betas users into the system to help us start testing as soon as possible, and early access somewhat soon after that, and retail as soon as we can.
Yeah. And so, we'll keep you posted on development progress and be streaming stuff.
Daniel was clarifying his question. He meant when you get the tablet version, if there's a season pass to unlock everything all at once.
Probably not. Because we don't know when since we don't know when it's all going to be released, and they're small, and I mean we're literally talking about 5 items here. You know, the season pass. The reason why we did those is because each expansion was like multiple decks of cards. These are just basically individual promos. So, you know, I mean, whether they're 99 cents each or whether they're, you know, $4.99 in a pack, like there's not really much to save there. And in fact, if you bundle them together for $4.99, you end up spending more money than if they're 99 cents a piece. So end up spending.
Laura asked about beta users. Are they able to stream it? That's something we'll have to have a discussion with the beta testers about. Normally, that's not something we do during beta testing, but
like we often will stream beta builds on our channel.
Yeah, because we know where the bugs are, and we can talk about them. But it's not something we necessarily want to be, you know, show everyone how broken things are. Like that's not really great.
And if you're on the beta team, you will get. We have a whole. I mean, we've done this a couple times already with both Sentinels and Bottom of the Ninth. We've got specific rules with regards to how you know, conduct yourself, you comport yourself while a beta tester. And there are some rules about content. And we are generally pretty open about those sorts of things. So like, you know, once we consider it to be ready, and certainly once it goes to early access, we'll be able to say, all right, if you want to start streaming it now, you can, or, you know, that kind of thing. So.
All right. I think that's about it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody. It's been fun. This has been a great month. We're so excited to have met a bunch of you at PAX Unplugged, and you know, talking with you here on the campaign and via Twitter and everything else. Thank you so much. Onward and upward. We can't wait to share with you One Deck Dungeon Digital sometime early next year.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks a lot.